us and look at that, I'm gonna entertain a motion to approve tax exemption, for this vehicle for Willow Christian Church as a religious organization. We entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the tax exemption for that van.
Can you get a second? Second. Thank you, Charles. I have a motion, I have a second, there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. This is copy very good, those are it.
Thanks.
Crystal. Lori Stevens, the county assessor, is here. She has at least one, a tax roll for several.
Just one.
Just one? Okay, cool. She got a correction for a tax roll.
Yes, this is Horse Creek Inn, and accelerate the taxes are being sold again.
They're being sold again? Jeez. Okay, when, this is number 8, the tax roll correction, and like I said, this is for Horse Creek Inn, they've been sold. When a piece of property is sold, they have to accelerate the taxes, so they pay the taxes prior to the sale. So they have to put up an additional $3.64.
It's a personal property.
So, anyway, still gotta do it legally.
Yep.
$3.64. Easy to do. Can I see that?
Oh, got it.
What was it for?
Yeah.
What was it for?
Nice.
Machine. Jeez.
Hopefully we'll do some remodeling and add some stuff next year.
Yeah, we'll get it. Yeah, so I was just informed, this was an accelerated tax, $3.64 for an ice machine. Okay, so with that, I will ask for a motion to approve this acceleration of tax for the correction here. This is number 8 for Horse Creek Inns.
I'll make a motion to approve that accelerated tax number 8 for Horse Creek Inn.
Thank you. Second. No further discussion, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Lord, do you have anything else?
Yeah.
That's it?
My Zoom
You guys
meeting.
are both easy today.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Who they sell it to?
Yeah.
We don't have anything else for Board of Regulation. I will close the Board of Regulation meeting with that.
Probably not.
Okay. I usually stop and visit with them, so. Okay.
How are you?
You good, sir? How are you?
Good, good. Usually we fill up those 15-minute slots, but today it's running kind of.
All right. Well, overall, everything's running really well this year, and so from a claims perspective, we're running it right at 65%. Carriers, when they market you or quote you, they want you to run at 80% or not over 80%. So we're at 65, which means 50% better than what they've kind of expected. Now, we do have a couple more months that we can have claims in that could move that number around a little bit. But so far through it was the end of March, we were at that 65% number. So a couple things here. We got the principal renewal, which is kind of the first one that kind of goes through some of those ancillary benefits, and we'll walk through those real quick. Starting with the first one, yep, on the first page there, yep. You'll be at the basic life and accidental death and dismemberment. That's the company paid life insurance that you provide to everyone, along with the dependent life. A little bit of an increase on that one, from $316 a month on the basic life to $344. Now that's for 56 people, so it's a pretty minimal increase. We see that from time to time just because everybody gets a year older. So unfortunately, we don't go the other way. We don't get a year younger a lot of times. So a little bit of age demographic change there. That's why that one went up. The voluntary life starts at the bottom of that first page. That's the company paid additional life insurance. That rate, those rates are not changing for anyone. So the actual employee is not going to see an increase on that. Now, if they jump from one age band to the other, they automatically get that, but that's built in to the rates. The accidental death and dismemberment that's tied to that voluntary life, which is on page 4 in the middle, no change to that rate either. And then the child life, we've got five child units that are covered for life insurance, and those rates did not change either, which is at the bottom of page 4. Dental then is taking a little bit of an increase from $28.89 to $30.85. Which isn't a huge number either, and we're still very competitive on that dental rate. What we're seeing is more and more dentists exiting networks, and so what that does is cause the claims to go up, and it's just something that's happening with dental offices. Now our plan covers in or out of network, so it doesn't matter to the employee. They get a discount, yep, but then we're also seeing it used to be about a 4 or 5% increase. This was 6.8%. I think that's part of that. But we're still in that $30 range, which is still pretty good from a dental perspective. So good there. And then vision is what the employees pay towards vision. That rate's not changing either. So essentially, a little bit of an increase for the county from the standpoint of the employees, cost no increase to them on the principal products that they're paying for. So overall, good renewal there. And then we've got your renewal, which is this sheet, and I'll kind of cover what those look like. We don't have to look at all the numbers, but we'll kind of look closer to the bottom, which ties them all together. Left-hand side is going to be your current Lucent plan with your current reinsurance carrier. We were notified a couple months back, I think, Penny, was it, that reinsurance carrier is no longer writing reinsurance. So they did not give us a renewal at all. They didn't give anybody a renewal. And so we did have to go out and market the reinsurance, which I do anyways. So we are going to move the reinsurance from one to the other, which does not affect the employees. The employees don't even see it. It's a contract language behind the scenes. It's the carrier that covers anything above the specific, or if we get to that aggregate number, they'll reimburse us on that side.
So is that what terminal liability means? Where the reinsurance?
No, that's just if you were to leave self-funded, you've got coverage on a run-out basis. So if we went to fully insured, a few years back we didn't have that, and so we couldn't necessarily leave if we had one of those years where it made sense to go fully insured. And so that's just part of the contract that's there.
Okay.
It's
I just
actually
didn't know what that really meant.
Yeah, so that's what that means, is that we have that. If we term coverage, we have liability coverage for any claims that come in after that. Essentially, is what that means, and they have that on there. It is PACE as who the reinsurance carrier is going to be. There's two options. So the left-hand side is going to be your current plan design. It shows at the bottom your annual maximum, your expected, which is 909. That would be if you ran at 80%. We're going to hopefully run under that, so we're not going to actually get to that number even. And then the total expected with run out, which doesn't really exist because we don't. If we stay with them, our contract just renews, so it stays the exact same. The renewal then, when we look at that, same exact contract that we have, so $40,000 specific, $20,000 aggregating specific. So what that means is we are, from a county, we pay the first $40,000 in claims after their deductibles and out-of-pockets. Anyone that goes above that, we have a $20,000 liability on the combination of everybody. And then reinsurance then kicks in for any claims that are above those numbers. So exact same contract there. We're looking at a 5% decrease in overall exposure, so to speak. And so our exposure goes down by 5%. We continue to run at 65%. That -5 really doesn't matter anyways because we're well under where that is. So, but overall, our maximum goes down. We now fall below $1 million, which I don't get to deliver too many of these types of renewals, just so you guys know. Negatives, even zeros are good, but negatives are even better. So that would be staying the exact same contract, moving over to PACE, which is just a behind-the-scenes contract that we signed versus the renewal. Keeping it at, benefits all the same is what I would recommend on that. So this sheet here shows the current benefits, the current pricing structure for the employees, and the cash in lieu of benefit. And with that renewal, that would be keeping everything exactly the same. Now, you guys obviously have an option to move the premiums around if you want for the employees, which is at the bottom. The high deductible plan on the right-hand side that they don't pay anything for. Left-hand side, that's the monthly premium for PPO plan, which is $100 for singles, $150 for employee, spouse, or employee children, $200 for family, and then there's a $500 cash in lieu of benefit. So you can move that around if you want to. With the way the renewal kind of shaped out, with the way we're running currently, I would say it probably makes sense to keep everything the same on that side.
So option A, you're saying?
I'm saying, well, option A and B we have.
Either way.
This is just your current plan that the employees have an option for. So they look at this and say, this is the plan I want. I would say keep this all the same even for next year. And then from this standpoint, I did put an optional one on here, which is the third column. What that does is takes your specific level up to 45,000 versus 40. And what I look at there is how much savings there is in fixed cost. And there's really only about 10,000 in savings to do that. So if we have 2 people that hit it, we break even. If we have 3 hit it, that's a bad choice to make. So I like to see that number 5 times difference for you to make that choice. So I put that on there. That's not what I would recommend, but it's more visual for you. And then you get your fully insured, which you're just automatically going to spend 21% more. Well, you're going to spend a lot more than where you're at currently on that one because you'll have to run out with that liability. Plus, you'll have the premiums that you run 65%. Blue Cross wins, you don't win. So, my suggestion would be keep principal the same, the actual renewal with PACE, keeping the contract the same, and then keeping the employees' deductions across the entire board the same for this year. We're just being at a negative.
Chad, I have a question on the high deductible plan. Is this a family deductible, or does each member of that family just meet the $3,000 deductible?
Each member can meet the 3. Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have to meet 6 for the family. That's just basically an out-of-pocket.
Yeah, and that's why we're at that deductible.
Yeah.
If we get below 20, it might be a little bit different for.
Okay.
But if we get below 2,800, then it has to be an aggregate, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is not aggregate.
No.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Okay. All right.
We don't have a ton on that high deductible.
2.
Not very good. So. But I mean, your PPO plan is awesome. I mean, as far as being competitive with the benefit, as far as my entire book goes, which is about 85 companies, yours is probably in the top 5% as far as plan design, which is a good thing. From a recruiting, retention, all that kind of standpoint, I think you can use that, especially with what you're charging then as well. It is a great benefit you guys offer from that perspective. So.
These can be changed at any time. Don't have to wait for renewal mid-year.
You get a 60-day notice if you're going to make changes to anything mid-year. That's kind of you're not even subject to ERISA, so
Yeah.
we would do that anyways. But if you're a county government, it's 60 days if you feel like there needs to be a change in that for whatever reason. Yeah, 60-day notice to the employees. And then anything from your office as far as, any issues with the plans or anything like that?
No, when
We order a lot of cards, that's about it.
When we have questions, we send them to you.
And I didn't know if there was any employees that said, this plan's terrible or whatever that is. Sometimes we hear that. A lot of times your office is going to hear that.
One thing we don't hear.
That's good. So, but I always like to ask because sometimes they don't tell me, and then it's like, I need to know that stuff. If that stuff comes up, I want to know that. It's not. I don't take offense to somebody saying the plan stinks. It could be just a situation. I can address it, or we address it in this situation where we make some changes, but we're not hearing anything. I feel like there's need to
Good
make-
rates, Chad.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good rates, yeah.
Okay.
And for budgeting, I don't know if our so you're saying our annual max is just right below 1 million?
That's the max, yeah, if you're in,
So
I
we
don't know,
could
what do you budget at?
1.3, I believe.
1.3 we budgeted last year, yeah, for this fiscal year.
1.3 of.
Yeah, 1.35 or 6.
Oh, yeah, for your total, but
That's what we
that include
budgeted.
dental and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
That's
would
what
look
we
at,
budgeted.
you would look at
So we
dental,
didn't even come close to that.
yeah, dental's at,
We should be about 900 and whatever that maximum one was, 998.
and you got about 40,000 in dental premium that you cover? And then however many of the cash envelopes that you do,
Put
In
it on
addition to
budget,
that,
we
too.
put it all together.
Yeah.
We budgeted 1.35.
should be well under that number,
Mhm.
based on what I saw anyways.
So we want to budget the same this year?
I don't know, we gotta see when we get the budget, we might, it'll be 34, we might not be able to.
Maybe move some around, I don't know if you need that much.
To budget 1.3?
I mean, the worst case scenario, you're at.
Less than a million, 998.
Yeah,
Then that's the total number, right? Would that include dental, or is that just?
no,
our
this
cash in
one's
lieu.
just medical, so 1 million, you hit that max. It's hard to do, but if you do, let's say you hit 1,052,000, dental's gonna be 40, so 1.1 million with medical and dental. Then you got basic life, which is 344, so another 4,000, so still put 1.2. And then how many cash in lieu, do you know?
There's probably 10 of them,
10?
12 maybe.
Because wouldn't this would be our rate though, right, for the 25,
Oh, sorry, yeah.
26?
9.9, yeah, sorry. So we'll round that up to 1 million, which would include the basic life. So 40,000 on top of that for the dental, so 1,040,000. And then about, if there's 10 people, that's 60,000. So 1.1 million would probably be the actual worst case scenario.
That would be fair, that'd be safe.
Yeah.
1.1 million. That'll help us a little bit.
That's right.
We think budget for it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at, are you planning on adding staff? Because, this number is based off current enrollment, which is up here at the top, and what we have. So if you're looking to add, and most of the time you're probably not looking to add a bunch, but if you're looking to add an employee or two, then you'll see that max goes
Well-
up or down with that.
Huh?
I'm working on it.
Yep.
Same as every other county too. always working on that, yeah.
So we probably better be careful with that too, because if we add,
Yeah, but then you got retires coming off on the backside too. So,
Okay.
But yeah,
very
be
good,
a little cushion there.
very good, Chad.
Might be part of the reason too, because we went quite a few months with very few sheriff or deputies or jailers too, so that might be part of the deal that's going on here.
That could be,
Why our numbers are low.
you're right.
But they're still based on like your loss ratio is based on the number of employees. It's not based just on the first year, it runs on a monthly basis. So if you lose employees, your actual claims pool goes down because you don't have as much money going in. You're still running at 65%. So.
Very good.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Yeah, we'll need a motion to renew.
Make a motion to renew health insurance for employees, vision, dental, and life, and at the same level that has existed now in this fiscal year.
I got a motion from Dean and a second from Fritchie to renew our 2025-2026 health, dental, and vision and life. And it is staying with Lucent,
Same with Lucent.
with
same
the stop loss
Stop
being-
loss with PACE.
with PACE.
Yep.
Okay.
This is our new reinsurance. Okay.
If there's any other discussion, we can have it now. If not, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Just keep it the same, Chad.
I will do. I'll try. That's just the intent to renew. If you could sign that for me. I'll send think what we'll do, is I'll put a letter together for the employees, cause they can make changes if they want. Since there's no changes in premium or anything like that, I think we could just do a passive, make an announcement to the employees. If they wanna make changes, they can either reach out to us directly or let you guys know in your office, and then we can just make the change from there.
Do we need to do that during the month of May?
Yeah,
Or
I'll
is
put
it
some,
June?
May, so we'll probably do May 1st to May 15th with a 2-week window there where they can make a decision on what they wanna change, if they wanna talk to spouse or whatever.
Okay.
And then, on that 15th, I'll be able to know what the new deductions, if there's any, we'll drop something or add something and get that to payroll, so that's up and ready for June 1st.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Did Steve get Steve Broomfield, the newest employees on the policy, right?
I don't know, I have to ask.
Okay.
Deb does most of it.
Okay.
Yes, I'll have to.
But
I'll
he
look
did
at the-
submit his paperwork.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it was sent to us, it'll be all done, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good, Chad.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Penny, come on, reach over here. All right,
Thank you, sir.
have a good one. See you
Yeah,
guys.
have a safe travel.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. What's that? That was a good premium.
Yeah, very good. That's good. Maintaining their, that's good for them. Good for us.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried about the money, I'm worried about their condition, so that's good.
All right. Next up on the agenda at 9:45 is Sheriff Kevin Darling with new deputies and administration. Come on down, Kevin. And your new deputy.
Take a minute, you've already looked over the memorandum of understanding, I will have to update that one for Dundee County. I think I had it made out for
It was
the
different.
interim sheriff.
What was different between Furnace and Dundee? We looked at it.
Between Furnace and Dundee.
Yeah, he said, I didn't read the Dundee one, I just read.
No, just the
Oh,
sheriff.
I think I had the names.
Oh, the names. Okay.
Yeah, no, the rest
The
of the.
Dundee County Sheriff, yeah, gotcha, okay, all right,
I'll have to update that and get that, yes.
okay.
So do you want us to sign this if we?
And I'll get a signature and then, and that'll be the only change on Dundee County.
Okay.
'Cause it's like,
They keep switching around over,
Yeah,
I know,
so-
between them and Hitchcock, but this is just Dundee Furnace, we're not dealing with Hitchcock County right now, then, or Frontier.
it should be.
It's in there.
Is it in
It's
there?
in there.
Hitchcock is in there.
I just
Frontier
read
is
this
done. As soon
So
as
it's-
Mike got up there, I.
Oh,
did that
oh,
one.
that's so.
So
I
it's
just read the first one.
Furnace, Hitchcock, and Dundee.
Correct.
Okay.
And then my new deputy, this is Joe Rothmar, 943 if you need him on the radio.
43.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will have, it's possible I could have a full staff by November, or
Really?
December, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good.
I have no idea.
We've been through a lot.
Apparently, 6 months by yourself 24/7 is not good for you.
Not good for the health.
Yeah, it's gonna drive our insurance premiums up again.
I know, it's my fault, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're just gonna have to too, when we get to budget season, we're gonna have to make sure that we're. How are you sitting on vehicles?
Right now, we're good. If I get that 5th man going, we'll have to look at it again. I did really well on the last go.
Okay.
We got it was a demo vehicle for Wayland light bars.
Okay.
And the light bar, all the LEDs, switch box and the control panel, probably 12 grand easy. It was included, so.
In the price of the.
Yeah, so
Good.
we did all right.
You know, right.
So you said you have your chief deputy,
Yep.
That's
your
Bert.
new deputy, and then you have one going through reciprocity.
Reciprocity being in the 20th of May, and I've got one at DCAB.
Okay.
was going through reciprocity was my chief deputy's under sheriff in Britain. Yeah. So you got 10 years experience under Burton.
How's your jail staff, Kevin?
Yeah, I think we've got enough females right now. We're gonna be kind of juggling right now because we're sending 4 to North Platte for the certification training, which is 2 weeks, so.
Otherwise, pretty much staff.
Yeah, we're close. When Burton and Blaine come up, the 2 deputies that are coming on. Blaine's uncle worked at the prison in Goodland. They decided to move up too, so he's in the jail now. So I got 3 out of Kansas, I'll take it.
With experience.
With experience.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good. Well, luckily, LB 34 doesn't affect law enforcement, so
It does in effect though. It's good for 1 year, but then
you gotta make it up the next year. Yeah.
It's not an easy fix. Helps you for 1 year, but get you back.
It's not really helping you. Anything else you need to know?
I guess we're gonna see you pretty soon then. Come over and see you. Looks like we've got jail inspection coming up.
Yeah. We did pass the fire inspection. They put in a new service panel, so that's all been cleared. We did pass the jail inspection through jail standards. We're doing training within the jamming system from our vendor for all the jailers and the rest of us that need it. We're getting there.
So you don't want us to sign this, not the Dundee County one, even if we approve it, we'll wait for you to make amendments to that.
If you give me the Dundee County one, I'll take it back and I'll fix that now. And I'll bring it back and you can sign up on it.
I was just talking to Tom Richards the other day, he did tell me the name of that new sheriff over there.
I'll make some phone calls. Anything else?
That should be it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't. I don't want to go through the consent agenda, do it.
10 minutes. So anything on it, look at this.
We are waiting on that payroll. So we'll probably wait till she gets that payroll adjusted.
Updated, maybe.
Well, we've never had, I don't believe we've ever had in our local agreements with, we did sign some, or we were, the McCook PD was the one that we worked on, or was back and forth on for a while.
Just update.
So this is gonna be a gift, I assume for the tractor, but not, like you said, it's not, it shows for Red Willow
Yeah.
Fairgrounds.
Right.
But I assume that's one and the same for the KIP.
I
Lorena.
think the KIP will own it, but this way they can use it on the fairgrounds as well.
Okay.
And they will use it for other stuff
Sure.
too, they will. It's fine.
guys have any questions about it, wanna look at any of that?
I looked at them already.
Charles, do you have anything on there? If, I wonder with this interlocal agreement, the only thing I question is, again, are we gonna get into anything with insurance?
It was considered that each department will pay their own costs, so it says in there. It's not like the one that had them cook.
Should we have had Paul Wood review these first? Has Paul looked at any of this, I wonder?
I can't remember if he looked at last year's or not. These are just renewals because of the new sheriff.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the verbiage hasn't changed though.
okay.
It's just the sheriff. And, yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna entertain a motion then.
You want me to make it? Go ahead, Charles, if you want to.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I'll second it.
I got a motion from Fritchie and a second from Dean to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. There's 2 copies, one for us and one for Dundee County on this one.
Yes, I didn't, wait. That's for them to sign.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I told him that he gave us every.
That,
piece of paper.
just this is the Dundee County. Charles' signature, and then you'll have to. Dundee Counties.
Yeah, Kevin told me don't email anything to him. His email has been down for 2 weeks, so.
also aware of this, right? The,
Yeah.
okay, regional center. All right, we'll move on to correspondence. Item number 1 is membership certificate from the McCook Economic Development Corporation, which is here, recognizes that Red Willow County as a 2025 member of the McCook Economic Development Corporation. McCook Economic Development Corporation's mission is to facilitate the formation, retention, attraction, expansion of businesses in McCook and the surrounding area. Signed by Troy Bruns, President, and Charlie McPherson, Executive Director. If anybody wants to look at that,
I'll hang it on your bulletin.
yes, that'd be wonderful. Correspondence number 2 is the Nebraska Commission of Law Enforcement Red Willow County Jail Evaluation. The cover letter states, from the Commission of Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice, on March 20th, 2025, Denny Makemer, the Criminal Justice Field Representative for the Nebraska Commission on Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice, conducted an annual evaluation of the Red Willow County Jail to determine its compliance with Nebraska minimum jail standards. The facility was determined to be in full compliance with the standards at the time of the inspection. Would you like to look?
I did already.
You did, you looked good, Charles?
I did. We still need some female jailers.
Didn't Kevin say he was good today? I think,
This was before.
but that was March, in March, yeah.
Now we're okay. They've been keeping them in for a while until now.
This was in regards, yeah. We also have reports, one being from Miller and Associates, mandatory update to county general highway map. They have some roads, in question in regards to, mainly it was to see, if we had abandoned any roads, within the last year. New, removed, and reallocated roads, ownership of roads, surface material type, visibility on county map scale, nominally greater than 0.10 tenths of a mile tolerance.
That came to Charles, but I sent it to, Miss Miller, and they worked on it.
I wonder if they have any questions, or we have several roads listed here. I mean, do they have questions about these roads? I see some of them
At the
are marked.
very end, there's some correspondence between Chris and Doug Terry.
Yep.
Do you have that on the computer? Can you email to us?
Yes, I could.
That's
I,
kind of a big report. I'd like to check my history.
I'll scan it. And, yeah, but I,
Okay, and I'll look at it when we get there.
A lot of these roads appear. By district. They have most of them labeled. He just had some questions on some of these, this would probably be the most pertinent. Of course, we need the list, I guess, of what roads that they're talking about, the number associated with it. Charles, there's quite a few of them in there that they were wanting updated.
updates on if there's anything been changed. And then, we'll go ahead and, household hazardous waste quarterly report. The report reads household hazardous waste collected do I need to read the whole thing? 167 pounds of household batteries and shipped those out along with 125 pounds of e-waste back to Veolia. In January, Veolia sent back boxes and buckets that can be purchased for recycling e-waste, batteries, ink, and other items. The boxes varying sizes and shipping capabilities cost a total of $10,375. Each box or bucket is prepaid, and then once full at or under the allowable weight and contents are shipped back at no cost. This option has made collecting and sending those items that once lingered and cluttered the bays no longer an issue. Is also very convenient. Extra boxes and buckets were purchased to have on hand. In the first quarter, the 2 e-waste boxes purchased were completed, which resulted in the purchase of 5 more later. The damaged lithium batteries were sent out along with 167 pounds or 4 3-gallon buckets of batteries back to Veolia for recycling. Packed and ready for shipment is also 968 pounds of pesticides and 1,984 pounds of paint, along with carryover of paint and pesticides from December. Veolia is not communicating very well when it comes to pickups, so Clean Harbors is currently working on a time frame to come get what is left before things pick up. Grant will be submitted for the first quarter in the next week or so, and changes have occurred with the reporting as they have decided to make all cash matches and grant fund invoices and documentation reportable. All items must be uploaded into the portal now rather than just some items. There are several other items we need to surplus again this year. When the days are slow, we lock the door and leave the gate open to the floor for people to leave items in the caves. This has allowed us to save money on personnel expenses. After speaking with Crystal, we have been reimbursed by the grant. All invoices have been paid for waste collections for individuals and businesses. Our balance after this quarter is $339,020.26 plus or minus from the calculations I received. Let me know if there's any questions and concerns. We have a lot of people thanking us every visit. We are still open and the program is available. All right, then we have the Sheriff's monthly revenue report. No, I sure didn't.
Is she on here? It's the sheriff's report. Are you on here?
I shouldn't be. Not this time.
We get that new bill passed. Raise the fees. What we can charge for these. Kind of a comparative tax. Replacement.
So they're saying.
That's what we're saying, but the bill's on the board today.
I see you looking at the calendar, you guys remember we had moved May's second meeting
Oh, yeah.
to the 27th in order to make payroll, because is it Labor
Instead of the
Day?
26th, we're gonna move it 27th.
That's Memorial Day.
27th,
Okay. The 26th is Memorial Day.
right,
Okay.
We're going the next day, 27th.
27th, yes,
But the next meeting is the 12th,
yeah,
May 12th.
yeah.
Okay. We're not gonna adjourn, because we're gonna go do our quarterly jail inspection, and then once we're completed with that, then we'll adjourn.